Hello everybody, Valentine's Day is coming up and I thought I would share with you my greatest insight on being in relationships. That being single is fantastic. There's so many reasons for this, but I'm going to start off with two disclaimers before we jump into the video. The first is that I'm the type of person who is either in a relationship with myself or a relationship with someone else. I'm not someone who likes to flirt around, but I know that there are lots of people out there who do, so I'm not going to advocate it, but if it's something that you enjoy, definitely go do it. You do you. As long as you're not breaking hearts left and right and hurting people's feelings, do whatever makes you happy. The second is that this video is in no way intended to say that relationships are inherently bad. I see no difference between being single and being in a healthy relationship. A lot of what I'm about to say you can definitely do if you're in a healthy relationship. I have just had really bad luck finding partners that lead to healthy relationships, so I find it easier to do these things single. It's totally up to you. Please don't break up with your significant other because you're like, wow, being single is great. Only do that if you're in an unhealthy relationship. The first thing I love about being single is the honest opportunity to work on yourself. I find that being single is the best time to figure out who you honestly want to be because it's not influenced by anyone else. When I was in relationships, I realized that I was constantly molding myself to whatever fit best in that relationship, and it's not necessarily that I was creating a person I hated or that I was doing it because I felt pressured to. It was more just I was doing it because it was convenient and it was easy within the relationship to be that way, but that wasn't necessarily who I wanted to be. And so being single gives me that opportunity to really think who am I as a person, not as someone's significant other or someone's friend. Another reason that working on yourself is a lot easier when you're single is that you don't have the added weight of your partner's problems. It's just a lot easier to figure out your life when you don't have to constantly help someone else. And that's not to say that you should always be selfish, but there are times when you should prioritize yourself over someone else, and working on yourself is really important. There have been many times in my life, and now is definitely one of them, where I have to focus on fixing myself before helping other people. We hear all the time, love yourself before you love someone else, and it's completely true, because if you choose the path to love someone else before you love yourself, when the relationship inevitably ends, you will have nothing to fall back on because you haven't built yourself up enough. You need to create yourself into a beautiful garden that cannot be torn apart when a rose gets plucked. Because that's my metaphor. There are going to be times, if you've recently been in a relationship, and Valentine's Day is probably one of them, when you're gonna feel lonely and upset and the feels are gonna hit you real hard. And for those times, I have 4 pieces of advice. The first is that remember that your past relationship wasn't healthy, and now you're able to take complete control of your life because of that. The second is cuddle with your friends and watch a movie. If you miss physically being with someone, remember that you have friends who will cuddle with you and who know you just as well, if not better than that person. The third is comfort yourself when you're high strung. Find a way to talk yourself down that doesn't involve other people. You need to be able to be a self-mediator at some point in your life, and being able to talk yourself down and really self-address is an important skill for life in general, even if you're in a relationship. And the fourth is do one thing that you love doing that your partner didn't, and realize that you are only able to do that thing because that person is not in your life holding you back anymore. Self-dating is this concept that I came up with my junior year because I really wanted to see this documentary on Peggy Guggenheim, but no one in my life at that point, including my friends, would have even been remotely interested in seeing that. And I didn't want to ask anyone because that's a waste of their money and time. But I was resolved to go, and I will admit it took a lot of courage the first time because I had built up this notion that it was not okay to go out to a movie or to go to dinner by yourself. I felt social places had to be with other people, but that's not necessarily true. So I decided to make a game of it, and I pushed myself out into the city. I took myself out to the art museum, dinner, and a movie, and it was amazing. It was so much fun, and that night I realized that I love self-dating. Like, it is one of my favorite things to do. For example, my favorite night in Stockholm was when I took myself out to Fotografiska and I watched the sunset over the water in Galveston, and just standing there by myself in a different city was like the most liberating experience in the world. It made me feel so powerful. I was rocking my black turtleneck. I was so in the mood, and it made me feel so great. I recognize that being alone is not something everyone is going to be as comfortable with, because I am definitely an introvert at heart, but I do recommend you try it anyway. And this is definitely something you can do when you're dating someone in a healthy relationship. Like, just be like, yo, today I'm gonna go do this thing. I'm gonna do it by myself because I love it, and that's what I'm going to do. There is one category I personally have not been able to break this cycle on, like it's concerts. Every single time I want to go to a concert, I feel like I have to ask someone to go with me because I don't want to be there alone. But when I really think about it, like, there's no reason that being there with someone who doesn't know the music is going to be any more fun than just being there by myself. So I have bought tickets to a concert, which I will not name. It is in April. I am very excited, and the only way that I will ask someone to come with me is if they express to me that they want to go to it. So I'm super excited to go to a concert by myself for the first time. I do have to point out the obvious fact, which is be careful and safe wherever you go. One time I was shooting some photos out in a really bad part of town. It was like dusk, my phone died, I was blocks away from my car, and this truck was like circling around, so I sprinted to my car, and luckily I was like, okay. But obviously you have to like take that into consideration. Like, that, I learned my lesson now. I don't go in sketchy parts of town by myself anymore at the night, like during the nighttime. But you have to like understand that there is a limit to what you can do by yourself, I guess is what I'm trying to get across. There are probably 1,000 reasons that I could articulate to you as to why I choose to be single and why I think being single is great, but these 3 things are the top things that I would typically tell someone if they voiced to me concern about being single. There is absolutely nothing wrong with being single, and if you want like a very funny satirical movie on that, you should watch The Lobster. It's about like relationships and being single versus being, it's good. I like didn't like it when it came out of the theater, but it's a good concept and a good idea. So if you're sitting alone on Valentine's Day, you should watch The Lobster by yourself and realize that life doesn't have to be that bad. So I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I hope whether you're single or in a relationship that you have an amazing Valentine's Day, and I will see you next week. Bye!